Our friend Joel Griffith is here. He's from the Wonderful Heritage Foundation. Joel, how are you, brother?
Hey, doing well. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great to talk to you. I heard this first from some crazy communist in Congress. She's like the head of the Progressive Caucus or whatever in Washington. And I heard her and I dismissed it because she's like crazy. And then this turned into the official talking point of the Democratic Party, including the White House, that this $3+ trillion bill is actually $0. Have you ever heard this argument ever before?
No, this is balderdash. In fact, I was blown away that they would actually try to peddle such an absurdity. The package itself, on its face, it's a $3.5 trillion spending package. That's real money that it costs. And the Congressional Budget Office, which is nonpartisan, scores this, and it truly is an enormous increase in federal spending. And they're claiming that somehow they're going to raise taxes to cover the cost. That's a lie as well. Even the tax proposals aren't large enough to cover this. But beyond that, even if you could somehow count tax cuts covering the costs as meaning it doesn't cost anything, those tax hikes are a very real cost on businesses, on investors, and not just them, but it's a tax hike on consumers and workers as well, because we know that when you hike taxes on businesses, it's not just the shareholders that pay, workers pay. It means less money for wages. Consumers pay. It means your product costs go up and there's fewer products available. So this is really amounts to the biggest increase in government spending in United States history.
Jeez. Let's slow down again on the "it costs zero" rhetoric. That is so bold and absurd, obviously at its face, but it'll work, right? Like people will fall for it. Most people, you and I won't, right? But most people will fall for that. And that's really pretty phenomenal, right? And like you almost got to give it to them that they could even come up with that rhetoric of, hey, let's tell people, instead of this being, as you said, the biggest bill ever in American history, let's say it's zero. Well, like that's amazing. And how do they even begin to say that? What's their turn of phrase that makes them even pretend that that's true?
Well, I thought it would be hard to outdo the initial lie, which was saying this is an infrastructure package, because only about 5% of this even deals with infrastructure. I thought that was one of the biggest lies I have ever seen in politics. How is an amnesty bill? How is expansion of government-run healthcare? How is expansion of government state education programs down to the age of 3? How is that infrastructure? But saying that this costs nothing, this is quite possibly the biggest lie ever peddled in American politics, and it's a lie with serious consequences. So if you add in the spending from this package just for the next year with the spending we've already seen, we're talking about just over a 12-month period. The total federal spending comes to more than $100,000 per family of 4. $100,000, and much of this, actually most of this, is being borrowed. It means the future generations are going to pay for it, but it also means we pay the consequences now. The slow economic growth that we've seen now, going back for years, the higher inflation that we're already seeing. This is just a taste of things to come if the socialists in Congress get their way. And make no mistake, these are socialists in Congress. Senator Sanders admits being a socialist. He's one of the most powerful members in the Senate. And we are going down the road of slower economic growth, higher prices, and fewer opportunities. And far too many people are applauding this.
What kind of welfare expansion are we seeing here?
Well, we're talking about having the federal government pay for preschool and the age of 3, extended family leave, child tax credits, which would be hundreds of dollars per child per month going into people's checkings account. And a lot of this are programs that many people are going to support, but they're not going to realize that we're borrowing, printing, taxing to pay for all of this. And in reality, this is just achieving the long-term dream of the radical left to remodel the American economy, which has been a free market economy, into a centrally planned, government-run enterprise. This is a nation that they've envisioned and they're trying to pass that would have the elites in Washington, D.C. deciding how to direct our economic resources and how to really shape every aspect of our lives, from education to the cars we drive to the food that we eat. And this pushes us forward in a direction that really puts us much more in line with former socialist economies in Western Europe, and even what we see going on now in communist China, where you have the communist government directing industry in the manner that the Communist Party leaders want the nation to be directed at. That's what this models our country after.
Wow, that was deep and insightful. I want more of that. Like, subscribe, get more.